everyone. I'm so happy to see you guys again. So now we are going to start with the rest of the chapter in this particular session, and we'll be covering the topics such as the aquatic ecosystem, or not ecosystem per se, the different kind of aquatic habitats which are found. We have the marine, we have the freshwater, coastal, estuaries, and the different adaptations. Listen to me very carefully. All the adaptations are going to be the, let's say, prime point of question asking or the question information. So the adaptations which are found in the terrestrial animals, and the adaptations which are found in the aquatic animals, you've got to learn all of those. Okay, and make sure that you learn the examples of each of the habitat. Could it be aquatic, could it be terrestrial, or the marine, desert, and the tropical rainforest, etc., etc. Learn the examples and learn the different type of adaptations which are found in the animals. That is going to help you score the perfect marks from this one, okay, from this chapter. So now moving forward, we have the aquatic ecosystem as the marine ecosystem. Okay, so the marine ecosystems are the ones which have high level of dissolved salts. That means they have a very high intensity of salt into them. That is why it is advised that even if you're stuck into the sea, you should never ever drink the salt water, or it is going to cause a lot of dehydration in your body and then you're gonna die. Okay, so you should never do that. Apart from that, since they have a dissolved salt, and that too in the high concentration and high levels, it kind of requires the animals which have a very strong sense of osmoregulation. Okay, what is the osmoregulation? Osmoregulation is the process where the body controls the content of salt in water inside itself. So water and salt contents are regulated are regulated in the body. Okay, in the body. Now that is done with the help of multiple organs which are present in the body, and we'll be learning more about those in the next higher standards, right? Apart from that, you see in the marine ecosystems, we have the open ocean, deep sea ocean, coastal marine ecosystems, every single type of the oceans, okay, in the marine, which are going to include multiple type of animals, multiple type of plants, since they are found in the different temperatures, different places on the earth. Okay, now don't you worry about that. We'll be learning about all of those in our video ahead. Okay, so moving forward with the aquatic freshwater ecosystem. Now the fresh water on earth is only up to 3%. Okay, and that too is present in the lakes, rivers, streams, glaciers, etc., etc. Rest of it is the marine water, which is present in the form of the oceans, which are found all around the vast area of this planet. Okay, so the fresh water includes the lakes and ponds and rivers and streams and springs and bogs and wetlands. This sounded like a poem, didn't it? Right. Now, that being said, they are contrasted with the marine ecosystems, how they do not have the large salt content at all, just like the oceans that we just talked about. Okay, and we have the science of biology which studies about the fresh water, which is called as the limnology. Now see, the type of animals which are found in these type of the aquatic freshwater habitats are the ones which have let's say, which have less tolerance towards the salt. Now see, if you have an aquatic, let's say, if you have an aquarium at your home, you must have seen that how changing the water in the fish aquarium is very, very difficult, and it needs to be done very perfectly. If there's even a slight change in the salt concentration of the aquarium, or if there's even a slight change in the temperature of the aquarium, it could be very difficult for the fishes to acclimatize and to adapt and to adjust, and that can cause into the different disease or the death of the fishes, right? Now, that being said, we're going to move forward to the aquatic coastal areas which are present. The coastal areas, they make up about 8% of the Earth's land, right? See, it is quite obvious that since 70% of the planet Earth's area is covered with the oceans, the oceans and land, they'll have to meet at some places. In that area where the land and ocean meet, this is called as the coastal area, which accounts for about 8% of the Earth's land, right? right? But they have 26% of all the biological diversity, and that is a huge percentage. Okay, now see, you can find the seabirds like seagulls and kingfishers there. You can find the clams, crabs, starfishes, anemones, sea anemones, okay, fishes, kelps, and marine mammals, obviously. And there are beautiful places, and the most type of diversities are found in the islands such as the Hawaii. Okay, the aquatic coastal areas and all these animals that you've learned about, all these you'll be learning more about in the ninth standard in the chapter diversity in the living organisms. Okay, now apart from that, we have the estuaries. Estuaries, on the other hand, are the special type of the aquatic ecosystems or the environment or the habitat which have the enclosement of the brackish water. Brackish water is where one or more rivers meet the ocean. So it is where the fresh water meets the salt water. Okay. This is what the brackish water is, and it basically has a free connection with the open sea. Now, that being said, we're going to watch a video over it in order to have a better understanding, right? Now, here's the video about the estuaries, and we're going to start it right away.
I'd like to talk about the ecosystem called the estuary. An estuary is a body of water that has fresh water entering and is also open to the ocean. It is semi-enclosed coastal body of water, and it's connected to the open sea, and also this salt water is diluted when fresh water from land drains into it. Estuaries have been called the nurseries of the sea because they provide a safe environment for fish and birds and other wildlife to raise their young. Estuaries also have producers called phytoplankton, which help the food chain and provide food for many of the wildlife.
See, phytoplanktons are basically the microorganisms which are very, very small and invisible to the naked eye. And these phytoplanktons are mostly the algae. Okay, everybody has seen that green growth, green colored growth onto the different ponds into the villages, right? And if not, you can just Google the algae. Okay, it'll be just like the picture that is shown to you in the black image right here, and they provide the food. They are called as the producers because they do the photosynthesis, right? And that is very, very important. Now moving forward.
Estuaries also help because they filter sediment and pollutants from the water before it flows into the ocean. Estuaries are also important because they buffer the ocean and the land, and they can help decrease the effects of flooding and storm surges.
See, they are filtering because they are in enclosed bodies, okay? And they help in the buffering and protecting, as in they act as a hindrance between the water flow, okay? That could be coming from the ocean or going to the ocean from the rivers. That is the flood water, these estuaries, they act as the hindrance for it, okay? And hence breaking the flow, okay? Moving forward.
Estuaries can be classified according to their geological features. The classifications include coastal plain estuaries, tectonic estuaries, bar-built estuaries, and fjords. Coastal plain estuaries look like valleys with gentle sloping bottoms. Their depth increases towards the river's mouth. This type of estuary is common throughout the world. An example is Tampa Bay in the U.S. Bar-built estuaries are formed when sandbars build up along the coastline, and they partially cut off the waters behind them from the sea. Fjord estuaries are narrow with steep sides and are usually straight and long. Fjords are found in areas that have been covered by glaciers. And finally, tectonic estuaries are created when the sea fills in a hole or basin that's formed from sinking land. San Francisco Bay is a good example. So there we go.
So there we go. Estuaries basically are the areas which could be acting as the nurseries of the sea because they help in the proper protection and everything. Apart from that, they are the ones which act as the buffer and they basically filter the all pollutants before the water enters into the sea, right? Now, that being said, we are going to move forward to what exactly are the different adaptations which are found in the aquatic habitats. Again, adaptations are the acquired features or the acquired or the inherited features which basically help in the better survival of an organism in an environment. Okay. Now, see, if we talk about the plants for the sake of aquatic habitat, these plants are very, very long and narrow and they are very, very wavy. Okay, they are soft, they're not as woody. And how is it important? That part of them being not woody helps these plants to have shift their shape according to the flow of the water, and that prevents them from the breaking or from being carried away with the water current. And the stems, they're going to have the air chambers in a few of the plants such as the lotuses or the water lily to help them stay afloat. Okay, and they also have a waxy coating so that water is not rushing into their cells, okay, into the cells of the different plants. What is a cell? Cell is the fundamental unit of life. Every living thing is made up of cell. Okay, now that is for the plants. And as if we talk about the animals, the major ones are that they have gills for the sake of breathing, and they also have a streamlined body. In the previous chapter, body movements, we did learn about the streamlined body and the movement of fishes throughout the water to avoid the friction and how they have fins to control their direction in the water, right? Now, that being said, we are going to see a super cool video about it, okay? Here we are. Let's just get on with the video, okay?
Already know the surrounding where an organism lives is called its habitat. Like the fish lives in the water, which is aquatic habitat. The penguins live in the snowy region. The camel lives in the desert habitat. The habitat provides the organism environment to survive and reproduce. For this, it gets the food, shelter, etc. from the habitat. So, an organism gets what it needs from the environment, its habitat. But few components of the environment may cause hardship for that organism too, like the temperature. In the desert habitat, the organisms have to face extreme temperatures. On the other side, organisms in the mountain and polar habitat face freezing temperatures. Besides this, there may be many other challenges or threats an organism faces, like the limited food, shortage of water, predators, etc. The organism needs to overcome all these hardships to survive. So let us first see the aquatic habitat and understand the life in it. As we know, the life is everywhere on the earth. Different organisms find different ways to overcome the hardships in the environment to survive and flourish in their habitat. The ocean and the seas form the largest habitat on the planet. This saltwater habitat is also called the marine habitat. Some scientists believe two-thirds of the marine creatures are yet to be discovered. Surprising, isn't it? The marine habitat has amazing diversity of life, from small single-celled organisms to the world's largest animal, the blue whale, fierce sharks, octopus, squids, etc., and the nice dolphins too. Most of the creatures on the earth live in the marine habitat. The life exists even more than 5,000 feet below the sea level, where sunlight doesn't reach and the temperature is very low. For example, the anglerfish lives at about 3,000 feet depth, and the long-nosed chimera lives at 8,000 feet depth. There are many amazing sea plants too. The lakes, rivers, ponds, streams, etc. consist of sweet or fresh water. These habitats are called freshwater habitats. Many fish, water bugs, water lily, etc. live in the freshwater habitat. How do animals adapt to the aquatic habitat? Let us see. All the organisms need to breathe in order to survive. The fishes and many other aquatic animals breathe through the gills. Unlike the fishes which breathe through gills in the water, the dolphins and the whales, which are marine mammals, breathe air through their blowholes. A blowhole is a hole on the top of the head of the whale or the dolphin. These animals have large lungs, so they can hold the breath for few minutes.
See, when it comes to the holding their breath, dolphins and whales, basically, whales can hold their breath up to the 30 minutes underwater. That is huge. 30 minutes. Imagine if we could have done that, right? It would have been amazing. I know, right? All right, moving forward to the streamlined shape, that is the next adaptation.
Now, how can the fishes swim so fast? The fishes, octopus, squid, and many other aquatic animals have streamlined shape. That is, it is rounded in front and narrow in the back. This shape reduces the water resistance and they can swim through the water easily. The body of many fishes and many other aquatic animals is covered with slimy mucus, which makes the body waterproof and reduces the water resistance, making the body slippery. How do the animals protect themselves in the water? Many sea animals use the camouflage technique, that is, getting mixed with the surroundings to save themselves in the danger, like the sea crab. Few animals even use the camouflage to catch the prey. For example,
See, camouflage is the biggest weapon for the most of the octopuses. They can like instantly change their color, okay? And shark as well. Sharks can also camouflage well in the water because they have a dark colored back and light colored belly, which kind of mixes with the hue of the water, the color hue of the water, right? Moving forward.
the camouflage helps the shark during hunting. If we look from the top, its back is dark, so it is hard to spot it against the dark sea floor. Now if we see from the downside, its belly is light in color, so the creature seeing it from below can't spot it against the bright sunlight. Because of this kind of shading, sometimes the shark's prey cannot notice it. This special camouflage is called counter shading. Some aquatic creatures have special defense technique, like the squids. They shoot the ink-like substance into the water to escape the enemies. And the lionfish, porcupine fish have venomous spines to defend themselves. Now, what about aquatic plants? How do plants adapt to the aquatic habitat? Let us see. In the aquatic plants, the underwater stem and the leaves are long and narrow so that the plant can withstand even the strong water currents and don't break easily. The floating plants have air chambers which help them to float. For example, the water hyacinth. You know, the leaves of the floating plants are big and they have the waxy covering which make them waterproof. For example, the water lily, lotus. So remember children, the aquatic habitat consists of the freshwater habitat, that is the lakes, ponds, rivers, etc. having fresh water, and the marine habitat, that is the sea and oceans having saline or the salty water. Both the aquatic plants and the animals have to adapt themselves to live in the aquatic habitat.
Now you see That'll be all for today. And then we'll be learning more about all of this into the next session. So I'll see you soon. Till then, keep on learning and stay safe. Have fun. Bye bye, kids.